have a band like Crossbreed right in front of you, that's very difficult,
Yeah,
you know. And I imagine it was probably difficult to go on after that.
sure. When I hear new metal, like the words new metal put together, this is one of the first bands that pops in my head.
Mhm.
And you can clearly tell that they've been an influence, just by our backgrounds here. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
I wouldn't say we ever copied them by any means, but they were very influential in our downshift days, even, and it wasn't like we're gonna do that. It was just like, I love that. And I want to branch some of that into what we're doing and stuff as an inspiration. So,
yeah. We tossed around the name Crossbreed a number of times, when we were, working together, um, and rightfully so. And I think that in some of our music, you can maybe hear that influence a little bit, but
sure.
you know, we were, I think, it's safe to say that we were all pretty obsessed with synthetic division.
Oh my gosh.
Um, and I was thinking about it. So a number of episodes ago, I had brought up a book by Derek Thompson, The
Oh, sure.
Hitmakers. And this is a great example of that, I think, because the main element so if you've never heard of Crossbreed before, it's very synthesizer driven,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
normally you would hear a hook on a guitar or a
Right.
vocal. With Crossbreed, it's a lot of synthesizer hooks, keyboard
Hmm.
hooks, and that was for new metal. That was very different at the time. So, like, just for context here, the album Synthetic Division came out May 8th of 2001. So, kind of right in the dead center, like at the peak,
Yeah.
of new metal, and nobody had really done that yet. Nobody had really used a synth in that fashion before.
Right.
So it was still new enough to be fresh, but if you pulled that element out, it was very Slipknot kind of thing.
Yeah.
With the guitars and drums. If you just listen to the guitar riffs, it's like, okay, yeah, that's pretty straight up new metal.
You're
But you
exactly
add this
right.
other layer, it's like, whoa, it takes it to a whole nother level. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Because again, I think, they borderline on industrial, obviously
Mm-hmm.
new
Oh,
metal
sure.
there too. But then like you think of other industrial bands and stuff, and there's definitely a difference. Like, yeah, I think I like
Mm-hmm.
Stabbing Westward or something like that. And it's
Ministry,
like,
Nine Inch Nails.
yeah, exactly. And these guys just go that element heavier. You know what I mean? Where it's
Yeah,
like those, industrial bands, and I don't mean this in a bad way because it's like kind of what they're good at, but
yeah,
those songs tend to be um almost monotone, where it's just like kind of the same level, and it just kind
yeah.
of rides out the same wavelength throughout the entire song. There's not a lot of breakup in it. But
Mm,
Crossbreed was, we're gonna have industrial influences in it and stuff, but we're definitely going to be new metal. They're going to have the
right,
breakups. They're going to have, a lot of
right.
ups and downs throughout each song. And, just they're kind of one of the best ones to do it as far as I'm concerned. And then on top of all that, they're going to freaking kill it visually. And it's
Well,
like they're,
that's kind of to dovetail,
yeah,
kind of the whole hitmaker thing. Like
right.
they took that kind of Slipknot aesthetic and changed it up.
Yep. Yep. And they did a damn good job. And that was
They
kind of
did.
the thing too in the new metal days was everybody was trying to find, I don't want to say shtick because that kind of has a bad connotation to it, but I think everybody was trying to find their thing that made them different than everybody else. Obviously, Korn and all these guys, the Adidas rock bands, when they all came out, they are all very much similar to each other. Dreadlocks, Adidas, whatever. And then Slipknot came out, and it was like, whoa, why are these guys wearing masks? I just remember this big, huge, controversial, discussion of the mystery of what's behind the mask and all this other stuff. It was very Kiss,
Oh,
um,
100%.
kind of a thing, from back in the, 70s. And
100%.
and they wrote that out too. You remember, I remember every time that they were in public and stuff like that. If there was pictures or videos or whatever, they were always hiding part of their face and everything.
Hmm.
And now obviously they don't give a crap anymore. But
Yeah.
but at the beginning it was a big deal. They didn't want to reveal who they were and everything, and
Yeah.
which I thought was cool. But so they got a lot of attention, Slipknot did with the masks and stuff. And then I think a lot of other people are like, well, I want to do something similar. How can we do something visually impactful like that as well, but do it like so Slipknot's known for mask and we are known for this. And
Hmm.
obviously Mudvayne came out, kind of sort of soon after, and they were probably the most prominent band known for the face paint.
Yeah.
And then bands like Motograter came out where they were like, well, we're going to do a full body paint, and
Yeah.
we're going to look like tribal and
God, can you
stuff.
imagine the smell of that van after a
Oh,
show? The
no.
motivator crew.
No.
Sorry, I don't know why that
Yeah.
image and popped in my head, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it had to have
But
been gnarly.
yeah, had it been gnarly. But Crossbreed, at the time, and again, they're still visually impactful, they've gone a
Mhm.
different route, but at the time though, their whole big shtick was the black lights and
Mhm.
fluorescent paint and
Yeah.
fluorescent contact lenses, and
Mhm.
then with that they're grinding, metal
The
and
angle
seeing the
grinders.
orange
Mhm.
sparks, yeah, with the angle
Yeah.
grinders and stuff, and with that bright orange with the blue backgrounds and everything. Gosh, it was just so visually just stunning. It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
it was almost at the point where you almost didn't care what the music sounded like because it was just such a
It was
such
so cool
a
to watch.
it
Yeah.
was cool to
Yeah.
watch, but they weren't a gimmick, and that was the cool thing about Crossbreed
Mm.
was that like I think about the band Wasp, obviously not a new metal band, but
Oh,
Blackie Lawless talked about,
Blackie.
he was like, I wish we could learn how to write good music so we didn't have to do all this crap live. One of my
100%.
favorite comment, quotes by him.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
yeah,
'Cause
it
he's
is
right.
hilarious. But again, yeah, right. But again, Crossbreed, it wasn't a gimmick. It was fully intentional. It matched
Right.
with what they were doing, and
Yeah.
the people were drawn to it. It was like a party. Like everybody would
It was
show
like
up
it
with
was a rave aesthetic.
it
Yeah.
was a rave, dude. It was
Hmm.
so cool, man. And
Yeah.
good for them for carving out that line. And
Yeah.
I was, just so you know, I was on part of their street team. So that was, again,
Really?
yes, man. They actually had a Nebraska division, which everybody did. They'd have like a Nebraska or a Minnesota division or whatever street team.
Yeah.
But I was part of the Nebraska division crossbreed street team, man. I
Did you get a
played
bunch
them
of cool
hard.
swag for doing it, or
I did, man. I
good?
did. And then like I helped with the MySpace page and all this,
Oh,
all the
sure.
things. And it was fun.
MySpace.
And they were super cool. I worked with their singer's girlfriend at the time. She was kind of in charge of the street teams and stuff. And so I worked with her, quite a bit, in the background and everything. And
Yeah.
it was fun. Good
Yeah.
people. They're just really good people. I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't come across like a bunch of jerks or anything like that. So it was
Yeah.
fun. It was very, very fun.
It's wild too, because I mean, street teams are kind of a thing of the past, unfortunately. But for those who
Yeah.
don't know what those are, I mean, back in the day, you could sign up to be on somebody's street team and they'd send you a bunch of swag, a bunch of samplers and flyers and stickers.
Right.
And, you go pass them out to all your friends and record stores
Yeah.
and, go flyer shows. And if they were coming to your town, then, flyer that show, all that kind of stuff. And that was, kind of how it worked,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
this was, it's also important to remember this is really before like social media kicked in.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, MySpace was a thing, but it was still kind of in
You
its
couldn't really,
infancy.
yeah, you couldn't really share stuff, I mean,
Mhm.
through MySpace.
It
It was
wasn't
just,
anything like today where you create an
no,
event and you invite 10,000 people,
right.
It
Yeah.
wasn't like that at all. So it was a little bit different of a
Yeah.
thing. And sometimes it worked, you know?
Yep.
I mean, look at what happened to 40 Below Summer. That's how they got their
Yes.
demo to Sean and got their record.
Correct. Yeah.
So like it really could, like, it was just necessary.
It was absolutely. Well, that was the thing is because, I mean, especially a lot of these bands, these JV freshmen, whatever you want to call them, kind of bands and stuff. It's like they didn't have the money to be
Right.
promoting their stuff all the time. And so the
Mhm.
best way of doing it is put together a website, or your MySpace page or whatever, and put out like, hey, we're looking for a street team for every
Mhm.
single location. And we need one person to be in charge of it. We're going to send you a bunch of stickers,
Mhm.
and then if you're maybe lucky, you might get a t-shirt or something like that, but you're probably definitely going to at least get into the show for free. And, to be honest, that's what I was always
Right.
looking for, was stickers
Yeah.
and free shows,
Sure.
so it was awesome.
Hey,
But you went out there and you put the legwork because you believed in them, and it
well,
was,
exactly.
that was the thing. It's like, here's your flyers, go, everybody put out 1,000 or whatever and
Mhm.
go after it, and it
You were
worked.
in, yeah,
They
you were
would have never
involved.
done it if it didn't work,
You felt like you were a part of it.
right?
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I mean. I never necessarily did a street team, but from the folks that I would talk to or who were on ours,
Yeah.
whether that was downshift or even narcotic, um, it was it brought them in and made them
Yeah.
feel like they were a part of what we were doing and that
Right.
kind of like kind of
Right.
thing.
Right.
It was a really neat feeling,
Yep.
to be honest, um, and yeah, so. But that's
Yeah.
cool. Did I know that? I don't know if I knew that.
I don't think you knew that. No, I was a part of the Crossbreed Street team and head charge. And so,
Sure.
yeah, me and my buddy Steve, kudos to Steve. That was the first, um, what would you call it? Street team venture I was ever on was actually head charge. And I got to see them
Yeah.
open up for OTEP and at the Ranch Bowl. And I was just
Nice.
like, and I got to meet them, and I was like, no way, and I was like, just to put out some flyers.
Yeah.
I was like, I would have done this
Yeah.
for stickers, But not only did I get in the show, but I got to go in, because like I'm thinking about, okay, so for example, I'm going to go to the Demon Hunter concert here in the next, I
Mm.
think it's like in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And been a huge fan of Demon Hunter ever since they first came out. Love that band to death. This will be my second time seeing them. First time was in 2004, 2005,
Yeah.
something like that. I think you and I
Yeah.
went and a
Yeah.
bunch
We
of our
went.
downshift bros. But
Yeah.
anyways, didn't get to meet them or anything back in the day, and I think they've been to Nebraska twice since then. And I wasn't able to go either time or whatever. So we're
Yeah.
going now. My wife's a big Demon Hunter fan as well. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna go. I'm like, well, let's go and get the VIP package, so we can meet him, get some pictures
Yeah.
taken
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And so I'm like, dude, I'm not even gonna tell you how much I'm paying to get all this. It's stupid.
Mm. Mm.
Kudos to them. I want to support them and everything, especially a band that's been doing it this long, over 20
Yeah.
years and everything, and it's cool and everything. But I just think back to like the street team days. I'm like, I did all this for like stickers and stuff like that, but I gotta meet the guys,
Right.
and it's like now I'm paying a lot of money,
Hmm.
and it's like, yeah, I would have, maybe I could have done some flyers for you guys or something.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, you bring up a good point too, because it's like, could that, the stuff that, like meeting them back then because you were helping them, you got to do it for free. Now they have to charge for that because,
Right.
streaming and, whatever. But, could the street team kind of method still work? Could you get a bunch of people on board to go hard, copy flyer, handbill flyer, for stickers and a meet and greet? You know what I
I'd,
mean?
I'd love to see it try. You know what I mean?
You know,
I would
I
love
would
to
do
see
it.
that.
I
I
mean,
would love to see it because
you
that's the
know,
kind of stuff we need to bring back.
but see, it's like if there's this whole nostalgia for this time period, it's like, this is how it
Is
worked,
how it worked. Let's do it.
and, honestly though, that got you in touch sometimes with label people.
Right.
If you were going through the label for the street team, because typically that was kind of the, that's where all the swag and stuff would come from. So you're talking to somebody at the label. Could that open a door for you? Possibly, because now you have a contact at the label, float your demo, that kind of thing. I'm not saying that it ever worked. Probably. I don't know.
I bet it did at
But,
least a couple times.
you know what you mean? You know what I mean, though? It's
Yep.
like, but I mean, it kind of goes back to, they put this record out on Artemis Records, which was a pretty small label. Kitty was on it. In fact, that's how Crossbreed got their deal, at least according to Wikipedia.
Sure.
James, correct me if I'm wrong, but they floated their demo to Kitty, and it ended up in an A&R guy's hand, and boom, signed. Record was out shortly thereafter. But I was talking to Artemis too, and that's how I came to know Crossbreed, because I was talking to Artemis about Downshift,
Right.
and I was kind of doing my research, and I'm like, who's Crossbreed?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I heard it, and I was like, dude.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
So that was pretty wild. But yeah, they were a super small label, and they got folded up into I don't know how many other labels, sold and folded
Right.
up, and
Yeah.
eventually, the imprint was gone. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
they had
so
some pretty good bands though. I mean, again, it might have been
I
smaller, but
think they did a dope record or two.
yeah, I'm looking at it here, and
Um,
it's they had I mean the biggest band ever, Baja Men. Remember them? But
was that the Who Let the Dogs Out?
yeah,
Oh God.
no, but they had
Um,
Better Than Ezra,
Black
Black Label
Label.
Society,
Yeah.
Boston, just another band out of Boston.
Wow. More
Um,
than a feeling.
yep, yep, Crossbreed, Dog Fashion Disco. Oh,
Hey, there you go.
mad
See,
respect, mad
see,
respect.
a label with balls.
Yep,
You gotta love that.
yep, dope,
Because dog
obviously.
fashion was
Oh,
not for everyone.
oh, no, but gosh dang, I tell you what, they set themselves apart, and
Yeah, yeah.
man, I love them so much. I love Dog Fashion. But yeah, so obviously Dope was there.
Dope.
I'm kind of skipping through some of these that I
Yeah.
don't know, but the Fugs,
Yeah.
kind of fun.
Uh,
Let's see, Kitty, obviously.
Kitty. Yeah. I
Um,
think there was another new metal one that I'm forgetting. But I don't remember.
Alan Parsons, the
Of the Alan
Pretenders.
Parsons Project.
Yeah, the Alan Parsons Project. The Pretenders, the
Oh,
Spooks. Yeah, they
okay.
have a bunch on here. Just unfortunately, a lot of them I don't know who they are, but
Right.
um,
Yeah, relatively speaking, it was a smaller label,
sure,
smaller independent label, and um,
taking
which is
chances.
probably
Yep,
why they were talking to me in the first place.
that's right.
You know, but yeah, I mean that kind of scenario doesn't happen much anymore unless it's like,
Right,
okay, I'm gonna, you know, release my own music and maybe some of my friends, and I'm gonna
right.
be known as whatever records. You know what I mean?
Sure,
There's
yeah,
not that like, independent but still prominent record label. I guess I shouldn't say that. I should, you still have your Century Medias of the world and your Nuclear
sure.
Blast and those kinds of things. And but back then, I mean, Artemis was kind of they were looking, I guess,
Hmm.
is what I should say. They were looking for new talent where, the Roadrunners of the world were not.
Yeah,
They already had the majority of the new metal genre, and we'll do a whole nother episode on that. But Artemis was actively looking for bands, which in fact, that's how I started talking. I think they even said, send us your demo,
yeah,
because back then it was like you had to have your demo solicited,
sure,
and
yeah,
nobody knew what that meant,
right,
nor could anybody find a definition. You know what I mean?
right.
And, eventually we come to find out after we talk to a lawyer, you know, um, but yeah, I think Artemis, if memory serves, Artemis was just like, yeah, we'll listen to your music.
Yeah,
We don't care
yeah.
if it's solicited or not.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, because solicited
which
doesn't mean like it's like vetted, like internally.
through like an intermediary.
Sure.
So
Yep.
like legally it has to be like, and I may be butchering this because I don't really remember, but like it has to go through somebody like a lawyer so they can say, okay, we definitively sent you this music on this date and this time. Because if said label was to go and say a similar song pops up on somebody else's record on that label and you then sue them,
Right.
for copyright, it's like, whoa, like they just didn't want to take any chances. So they just said, okay, listen, it has to be it has to go through a lawyer or somebody for us to even touch it.
Right. Yeah.
Remember the movie Airheads?
Yeah, I do, dude. I love that movie
Where
so
that was the
much.
whole thing is he couldn't get his music solicited,
Right. Yep.
and that's why they, he kept getting kicked out of the record label office. I love
Right.
that movie.
Yep.
It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite movies.
That's a great movie. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I
So I
learned
just
about Solicitation.
right. So I just
Was
looked it
Brendan
up, and
Fraser.
yeah, you're right. So it's basically what it is. Just to simplify it, it's basically what it says is if they go to a band and ask for their demo, then it's totally fine. If you send a demo to them, they can't touch it. So they
Okay.
have to ask you for it. So,
So you have to get them to ask you for it. And how do you do that?
right. And it's
Yeah, I
all
was on the
because
right
of
track.
lawsuits.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
on the right track.
Yep. Yeah. So it says the primary
Now nobody
reason.
cares because there's
Right.
this thing called the
Yeah.
internet. So
Exactly.
solicitation is not a problem anymore. Everybody's solicited.
Yeah. Yeah. So it says if a label listens to an unsolicited demo and later releases a song that sounds similar, the
Mm,
artist might sue for copyright infringement. So that's why they
yep.
would do it.
Yep.
So it's like I can't touch it because I basically, got to
I'm
act
not,
like I'm
it's exposure.
naive.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. I've never heard your
Yeah.
stuff, so therefore you can't sue me. you know,
Correct.
for having something that sounds similar to it.
Hmm.
So interesting.
And I mean, in the new metal arena, that was smart because
Very
riffs
smart.
really started to sound very similar
Yep. Yep.
towards the middle and end there.
Right.
Um, but um, but yeah, I for some reason Artemis didn't care. So thanks, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Thanks, I guess.
Thanks for if any of you guys are still
Right.
around. Thanks for listening to
Well,
my
I
stuff.
wonder though,
Um,
but again, if you think about it, they did it the right way. So even if you reached out to them first and started talking with them, and then they said, "Hey, I'd like to hear your demo," then
Technically, that's solicited.
correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
yeah, so they're
Man,
doing it. I mean,
what a loophole.
that's what I did with Roadrunner. You know,
Yeah.
when I was working with Roadrunner, you know, it was I reached out to them initially, and then they, you know, we talked back and forth and stuff, and then established a relationship and stuff. And then they're like, "Yep, let's hear your demo." Heard the demo and stuff,
Hmm.
and then it just snowballs from there. Then it gets
Right.
crazy, and then
Yeah.
it's, you know, we want to see live videos, we want to see this, that, and the other thing, blah 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 blah
Hmm.
blah,
There better
and
be
then you
people
get
there.
way too many people involved, and it's just and it
Yeah.
takes all the fun out of everything, and it just turns into
Yeah.
business crap.
Yep. That's when
Eh,
it becomes a business.
Right. And then when you're in your 20s and you don't know jack from all, you know,
Yeah.
it's just like 1,000 miles an hour. You have this feeling of,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I'm talking to a label, and you're like telling everybody, like, you know, all your family and everything, like, I'm
Hmm.
talking to, you know,
I'm
Artemis
gonna
or
be a rock
whoever and stuff.
star. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And it's like, now that I know what I know, it's like, no, it's you're so far away. And it's like, even
Yeah.
if your band does get signed, you know, just know this the statistic, if your band gets a record deal, 20% of those bands that get a record deal actually record and actually get the CD on the shelf. And it's
Hmm.
like you can have a total record deal
Yeah.
and get paid and get money to record and still not make it. You know,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
a yeah, it's a
I
weirder
mean,
deal.
anymore, it's like they want to hear the demos.
Yep.
They want to hear what they're about to sink money into.
Hmm.
And if it's not something that they want to sink money into, they're not going to.
Right. Right.
And you can't go anywhere else.
Right.
So you're
Yeah.
just kind of on the shelf. You're kind of dead in
Correct.
the water.
Yeah.
Or you keep working and until you get a collection of songs that they think is going to sell, and there
Yep.
you go.
Yep. Or you get absolutely screwed by like a band like Head Charge, you know. I mean, that's the whole reason they're not on Spotify, you know, with
Yeah,
their old
yeah.
albums and stuff. Just ugh, you
Hmm.
know. But either which way,
It's a
Crossbreed.
business. It's a
Crossbreed. It
business.
is a
Yeah,
business. Yeah. Let's get
Crossbreed.
back to Crossbreed here.
Yeah,
So
no, for sure.
okay.
Yeah.
So
So
Artemis
came out.
Records.
Yep, came out May 8th of 2001. And they toured with kind of the usual suspects. They
Yeah.
toured with Static X. They toured with Rammstein, which is a whole different
Right.
deal.
Could you imagine though?
You know,
Could you imagine like Rammstein? Okay, I get that. But could you? I mean, all those bands though, they do bring it visually though. But I mean, could you imagine if you're like, say, Dope or something like that? Not saying that
Mhm.
they didn't do a visual aspect or because they are very good live. They've always
they
been good live.
they
But
always had a big strobe light show.
correct. Yep. Yep. But
Mhm.
I'm just like, could you imagine? I mean, I'm thinking of like, say, Flaw or something like that. Obviously, I
Yeah,
don't think they would
yeah,
ever put them together. But
right.
it's like, how hard would that be to be going on tour and then Crossbreed opens
Like go
up
on
for
after
you
that.
and you're just like, well, we're gonna look like Joe's
Hmm.
banjo band, you know?
Yeah. Well, you bring up a good point, and because I think that, and I'm making a wild assumption here. There was a tour that Crossbreed jumped off because the headliner was not being cool to them,
I remember
and
hearing
it's
this.
one of my all-time favorite bands ever. So it was kind of a bummer to hear that.
I remember hearing this. Who was it?
Yeah.
Can you say?
Nothing Face.
Nothing Face. That's right.
So it
Okay.
was nothing. It was, I believe, 2006. It was Crossbreed and Nothing Face. And yeah, a handful of shows into the tour, I believe. Nothing Face started giving him a hard time. And, from my vantage point, seeming like they were trying to get him to leave the tour,
Right.
without telling them to. And then eventually Crossbreed was like, forget it. This is
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
And they, from a business standpoint, they were really trying to muscle them. And That's not cool. So they jumped off.
That's
Which
crazy.
when you have when you're on a tour like that, like there is a lot of money that goes into marketing and
Sure.
promotion and all of these things. So jumping off a tour is not a good idea. Like you have to have a reason and it has to
Right.
be a good one. And they had a good one. Like they were kind of getting screwed left and right, which was unfortunate. Um, but yeah,
That's crazy. I wonder if what
yeah,
the reason for it was. Do you remember? Was it
you
just
know,
because of this, you think? Or
there's, well, I mean, there are emails on the internet somewhere. So Jerry, who was playing bass in Nothing Face at the time, I believe was also managing the band. There was a lot of issues with who can sell merch, how many pieces of merch at
oh,
what
that's right. I
price.
remember hearing
So
this
they were
now.
really trying to, kind of step them down a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think they even how did the story go? Because I did try to look for those emails and I
Sure.
saw him once and then I could never find him again. But
Yeah.
somebody had actual copies of the emails from Jerry to Crossbreed to, I believe it was either James or their management. And I have reached out to James to try and see if he wants to come on. So James, if you're listening, hit me up
Yeah.
on
Come on and
Facebook
set the
and
story straight.
yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
tell us what happened because we're definitely curious about all this stuff. But I think they tried to push him out of a venue at one point. There was an issue with a venue, and Crosby was just like, "We've
It's
never
not
been
worth
treated
it.
like this before in our
Yeah.
life, and we're not going to sit here and take it." But and because having seen Nothing Face several times, when Matt was alive, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Like they were almost like a musician's band to a certain
Totally.
extent. Like it was very, very intricate and very kind of, crazy from an instrumentation standpoint, right?
Sure.
Um, and so there was no real like visual show per
Right.
se.
Yeah.
When they
They're
did
just writing the talent. Yep.
right. So
Mhm.
when they released Skeletons, then it was kind of
Yep.
like, okay, we're going to dress up a little bit and kind of do the thing, and then
Yeah.
that was it. But so when you're that kind of band, and then you have a band like Crossbreed right in front of you, that's very difficult.
Yeah.
And I imagine it was probably difficult to go on after that.
Sure.
You know, but I will say too, Nothing Face they were a hard party and band.
Yeah.
There was a
Yep.
lot of alcohol and such around, and I think that if memory serves from some of those emails or some of at least the Crossbreed response, that was part of it too. The drinking and such. But yeah, either which way, it kind of your mind would go to, well,
Sure.
maybe they were trying to push them out because they were feeling like they
You
were
would,
maybe getting
yeah, you would
upstaged a
think
little
that's
bit.
what it is, but it could be something completely.
Right.
I mean, dude, there's people that I just,
A million
yeah,
things could have happened, but
yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
there's certain people that it's like, I mean, I'm not even talking about bands. I'm just talking about people. It's just sometimes you just don't vibe with people, and that's just how it
Yeah.
is in life, and I get it, but I don't know. And then you obviously hear of some bands that are just like they didn't vibe with anybody. I'm not saying that's
Hmm.
Nothing Face or Crossbreed or whatever,
Right.
but there's definitely some bands out there that you hear a lot
Mm.
of stories and you're just like, holy crap.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot of behind the scenes that goes on tour,
yeah.
and
Yeah, and
that
you're stuck
most
with
people never
basically,
hear about.
yeah, you're stuck with almost like living with these people for like a month or more, and
Depending on how long your tour is. Yeah.
yep. Because I mean, because dude, that's the part about touring that is like is not glamorous is the waiting around. I mean, the
Hmm.
majority of the time
Yeah.
that the fun aspect of actually playing the show is like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like
That's an hour of your day.
that's an hour of your day. The rest is driving, waiting some more, But again,
Uh,
there's you get to hang out with these guys and everything. But the thing is, like, if you don't hit it off, you're
yeah.
stuck with them
You're
for
on
the
tour.
rest of the
Mhm.
tour. And it might, maybe it's
Yeah.
10 days, maybe it's 30, maybe it's more or whatever. But it's like that's why I think it's important that, the difference about today with people touring compared to back then, it was the labels for the most part were the ones putting together the tours based on, like, well, we want this band to go with these guys to get discovered,
Hmm. To break
and
them. Yeah.
to break them exactly. And so you would get a lot of that, and sometimes those bands just didn't work together, you
Yeah.
know. And but
Yeah.
nowadays it's a lot of the bands are kind of independent, and so they're reaching out to other bands that they're friends with, you know, and they're like, I want
Yeah.
you to
That's
go
part
on
of it.
tours with us. Or
Yeah.
a lot of these bands, they've started their own, you know, mini labels and stuff like that, and they're signing these other bands, take them on the tour
Yeah.
with them as well, you know. But again, they already have a relationship established. But back in the day, dude, it was like you didn't have
Hmm.
almost a say so, and everybody would jump on with anybody if they
Yeah.
had some sort of a following, you know,
Yeah.
because why wouldn't
And
you?
yeah. And I mean, nowadays there's, and I don't know when this phenomenon started. I mean, it may have always been a thing. I don't know, but the tour buy-on. So
Yeah.
now you have
Yep.
bands that are paying an insane amount of money to buy an opening slot on a tour. So, tours that I've considered or have been discussed in the narcotic, camp, we're looking at 10 grand to buy on a tour. And that gets you zero. That gets your name
Right.
on the bill.
Yeah.
That does not include food. That does not include anything whatsoever. And then there's a whole list of rules. You
Right.
can do this, you can't do that. Um,
That's crazy.
so it's like, okay, so you're already starting the tour out in the hole.
Yeah, that's crazy.
More so than you would be if you were just, okay, we've invested in lights, we've invested in, some scrims and murals and backdrops and such,
Sure.
or, lights and black lights and stuff, whatever, that stuff aside, like the normal tour expenses, this
Mhm.
is just another layer. Like you're
But
just starting that far behind the
yeah,
starting line.
but it could be the thing that
When you
sets
buy
you
on.
off though, too, you know. I
See,
mean,
that's
high
the
risk, high
gamble.
reward,
That's
you
the
know.
gamble.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, I'm trying to think of what tour that was. Um, I don't really remember. Was it Soulfly? I don't recall. But yeah, the figure was 10G, which, and that doesn't include travel either. So if you're
Right.
looking to tour
Yeah,
Europe,
that's
you still
just to
have to
get
buy
in
your
on
way
it.
to Europe.
Yeah. Do you remember how many
Um,
shows it was?
I
Was it like a
don't.
leg, like a five show
Don't
leg or something like that,
know.
or is it the whole thing?
This was it
One
was
show.
substantial. No, it was substantial,
Okay.
and it was in Europe.
Oh, okay.
So
Sure.
it's like, okay, well, we're gonna have to rent gear because we're not gonna ship all that.
Yep.
Anyways, I guess where I'm going with this is that there's a whole lot. So I mean, hopefully Crossbreed didn't buy on to the Nothing
Yeah.
Face tour. I guess is where I'm going with all of that. Because that's how a lot of it works now. It's
Yeah.
all about money. Dude, it's like the mob, right? You're always
Right.
kicking up. You're kicking money up. The headliner's making all the money.
Mhm.
You're paying that to the headliner.
Right, right, right.
You know.
Well, that's the other
So
thing too is
the business of touring.
right. And I think it's also important to put out that, you know, with Nothing Face, there's so many bands that just talk so high of Nothing Face. So again,
Mm.
I don't want to put it out that like Nothing Face is some evil
Oh
conglomerate or
yeah,
something
I
like
mean
that, you
this
know,
took me by
because
surprise.
right, because yeah, exactly, because I was gonna say they're pretty well known as being pretty good dudes and stuff. And same thing with Crossbreed, like I was saying, like I just my interaction with them and stuff was awesome, you know.
Mm.
So I just think, like I said, I'm just going back to I just think sometimes people just don't vibe sometimes, and it is what it
Yeah,
is, you know. And
yeah,
but you know,
exactly.
they just couldn't stand being stuck with each other, and it ended up being what it was and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
But yeah, you know, if we can
yeah,
get Crossbreed or Nothing Phase on here to kind of talk about what happened and everything, and hopefully they've buried the hatchet and stuff. And if they haven't, then
I
hey, come
doubt
on
it.
our show and let's bury it.
Yeah,
Let's do it together.
yeah. I mean,
Pull out
I've
that rusty old hatchet and let's
yeah. I'll reach out to James again and
yeah,
see if he'd be into coming and chatting with us, and
yeah.
I'd love to get Tommy Maxwell on the show too.
Yeah, but
Um,
so how many records have they put out though? Crossbreed. They've put out a
Crossbreed,
yeah,
I believe 3 records and then a handful of singles.
yeah.
Um, but before
Yeah,
we
three.
get into
Yeah,
any,
go ahead.
like, so synthetic division, like,
Oh, sure.
what for you? What are the standout songs?
Okay, so you're
If somebody's
put
coming to this record fresh, right? They've never heard them before. What song are you pointing them to?
well, you're putting me on the spot because I suck at well, underlined. That's my like
Sure. That was yeah.
that's got to be like the main song.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. I got to look through the oh well, Pure Energy is a lot of fun, but that's not.
Your energy's fun.
Yeah, that's
Breathe.
kind of like
How's it going?
yeah, Breathe is really good. Um, Yeah, Underlined is obviously number one. I mean, that's the one that I feel is the one that broke them out.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so. I think
yeah,
that
I'm
was a
going through
single.
the list right now,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean,
I mean,
Seasons is good. I mean, Seasons
yeah,
is really good
yeah,
too. That's tough, but yeah, I would say obviously not, for me, number one would have to be Underlined. That's the one
yeah.
that's got that strong hook in it, and it
Uh,
just James' vocals are so freaking cool in that. I
yeah.
mean, they're cool in every song, but that's the one that's got that really good hook to it.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Pure
Yeah.
Energy though. God,
Yeah.
that intro on that freaking song is
Yeah.
killer though.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough. What about you?
Probably Breathe.
Yeah, it's a good song, man.
I don't know. But Pure Energy was good. And I mean, honestly though, it's one of those records again, you know, front to back. Like just start at the beginning,
Let her rip.
because yeah, like you're
Put
gonna
it on
listen to the whole
repeat.
thing.
Yep.
You're gonna listen to it all,
Hell
you
yeah.
know, um, because it's that well done.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
production is very um, similar to other records of the time period.
Sure.
Um, and I believe they shared a producer in some way, shape, or form with Kitty. Um, and but yeah, it's just you know front to back. So I mean, if you're into Underlined, you're going to be into the whole thing. Is Underlined track one? I think it is.
No, it's actually Underline is
Is-
three.
Oh, what did I think it
Yep.
was?
Yeah. Severed is
Um,
number one, Seasons is number two, and Underline is
okay,
number three.
okay. I mean, you're going to listen to the whole record anyway. So
Yeah. And they're all
just start
good.
at
There's not a there's not a bad song on it. I mean,
start at
it's
the beginning.
just it's
And I think that we have a tendency to pick records to talk about that are like that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if you go back and look, well, actually, I shouldn't say that because we did the Union Underground way back when.
Yeah.
That one, mm, still good, but there's a couple that I kind of full
Yep.
transparency skip.
Yep. Yep. Yeah,
But
yeah, again. Well, again, mad respect to Union Underground. They've
oh,
actually
sure,
commented on
sure.
some of our stuff, cool dudes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that album seemed like it was kind of put together, if that makes sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
not even with them. Like the label or somebody, management or somebody was very heavily
Union,
involved with that. And, you know,
Union Underground.
yeah, that's what it feels like to
Who
me.
knows?
It feels like it was like I don't know how to put it. It
Kind of
doesn't,
workshop together.
yeah, it just doesn't feel like it was
Um,
like that's what I love about first albums from most bands is it's like you could just tell it's just like we worked really hard. We worked
mm,
a long time on putting these songs together,
yeah.
perfecting these songs, putting them together. And I think that's what you're talking about. Some of those songs in Underground are kind of skippable. And I think that's
Yeah.
because it's kind of what it is. It's almost, it almost feels like it was like we it's like a lab grown
And it could
record,
have been. They
you
could
know?
have gotten to, kind
Yeah.
of the end point. And the label was like, no, we need one more. We need one more.
Yeah.
We need one more.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So it could have been kind of rushed. I mean, who knows, what the circumstance was, but the
Yeah.
majority of the albums that were coming out around this time were front to back, like, because I think this was the point in time where it started to get really oversaturated with
Right.
kind of the copycat type bands. And like you had to come out swinging, like you had to
Oh
have
yeah.
like, if you had one shot, like this is it. So make sure every track on this is
Killer.
stellar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Um,
have to.
yeah,
Yeah,
because if you
otherwise you're
don't,
just
like you're
swallowed
gonna
up.
get lost. Because
Yep.
there's so many others at that point because everybody was trying to, really
Right.
jump on the train,
Yep.
as it were.
Right.
So, but
Yeah.
but yeah. So I know that Crossbreed, they've had several lineup changes over the years, and I think it's just James and Ian now, and then they have people kind of fill in everywhere else.
Yeah.
But I think they've only done a handful of shows in the last couple of years,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
which is too
yeah,
bad.
and again, and again, speaking of too bad, and I get it. I'm not gonna knock them for whatever and stuff, but like the one thing I was disheartened is like I think they did a couple shows in 2025 and
Hmm. Hmm.
and
I watched the footage. Yeah,
right, right. And
it's
they were
good.
they were great.
Yeah.
freaking outstanding, but they didn't look like the crossbreed from back in the day. You know what I mean?
No,
Where it
it's
was
different
like,
guys. Yeah,
yeah,
different
and
guys.
it's like, well, what I mean is like they lost all the blue industrial, neon freaking blacklight aesthetic, and they went with more like this dry, like we've been in like a dirty war, like
Yeah, oh,
nomad,
yeah,
you
like
know
the
what I'm
Mad
saying?
Max kind of vibe.
Mad
Yeah,
Max. There you go. That's what I was trying to
yeah,
think of, but kind of like a Mad Max aesthetic. And I
yeah,
and I get it. And as a visual artist, or creative, that they are, I can get that they don't want to do the same thing for 25 years,
right, right.
but it's
Hey,
also
well,
like
yeah,
that's kind of what you're known for is this,
right,
and it'd be like Slipknot coming out and being like all of a sudden they're all
right.
dressed in all black or something like that, and it's like, wait, but you're known for
They
your
had black
masks.
jumpsuits at one point,
Right, but
I
imagine no
think.
mask. Maybe they just all paint their faces black and they have black. I'm just
Sure.
saying,
Oh yeah.
whatever.
No, yeah, I know where you're
It,
going.
it would be weird because like even Motograder, Motograder's still rocking the tribal paint and everything, and Mushroom Head does their thing, and I don't know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
but Mudvayne's jumped all over the place, but they're back. You know what I'm saying, and that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of what I'm saying. I would love to see from Crossbreed. It was they that was part of the shtick. They wrote good music, but they were known for just that wild freaking rave type of a
Yeah.
look. And then now they're kind of more like,
And I think,
it's cool, but
yeah, I think a lot of it too is, there's a lot of new rules,
yeah, can't have
So
metal shards flying into the
yeah, the angle grinder thing probably isn't gonna work these days. You're just kind of asking for a
yeah,
lawsuit on that one.
yeah,
Because I
hand it
mean,
out.
Hippie used to do that too. Product used to do
Yep,
that all the
yep, yep.
time.
I remember that. Yeah,
And it's a cool effect, but like you can't control it,
sure. Yep,
and nobody, venue owners are probably going to get weird about it because now
right.
everything's super expensive, and they'd probably be playing pretty nice venues, and you don't want to
Yeah,
puncture a speaker cone or set something on fire. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Been there, right?
Yeah, yeah, well,
Am I
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, I
yes,
also look
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
getting a 2 liter bottle of freaking Fago rocketed into your face can't be.
Well, nah, I suppose there's that too.
But I guess like metal shards like flying into your eyeballs, I guess is probably a little bit worse. But
The pain from Fago is only temporary.
that's right. It's only temporary. But I don't know. But either was right. I mean, minus the sparks and stuff. I mean, I think they could probably do sparks in different ways or whatever without angle grinders.
Mm,
But still, just like again, look at I mean, it's like it looks freaking rad. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
It's like
yeah,
bring it back. Let's go get the blue lights and the black lights and the all that stuff. And
yeah.
I don't
Well, I
know.
mean, I'm sure they had their reasons, and
Yep.
but who knows? But I definitely like to, I wish they would go on the road a little bit. I'd go see them for sure.
Right. I wonder if they got anything coming up right now.
Maybe resurrect their old street team.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good
You know,
idea.
and actually, I did forget this. Underline was actually nominated for a Billboard Music Award.
Was it really?
Yeah,
That's freaking sweet.
and
That's such a good song,
it's
dude.
like okay, yeah. So yeah, I guess that would be the one. If you're going to listen to one, let it be that. I'm pretty sure there's multiple songs on our Spotify playlist because I believe it was the next record. Was the next record KE 101? Or was
Good
that number three?
question. Hold on.
Um, because what record is the song Hollow on?
Yeah, KE 101.
It was Hollow on KE 101.
I believe so, yeah.
I mean, that song is just spectacular.
Yes. Yeah, that was the
And
thing. I really felt see that's the thing. The KE 101, I don't think it's is
it's
you know,
overlooked, unfortunately.
right, because I think obviously synthetic division is just so freaking on point, but
Mhm.
it's like the KE 101, like I really felt like that was like their I mean, even though it wasn't, it was their third album, but it really
Oh,
felt like that was their
that was number three?
yeah, because they had
KE 101?
yeah, so they had .01 was their first
Oh,
album, and then
that
Synthetic
was
Division. Yeah, it's like
the
a
self-produced one.
self-produced one, yep, and then
Yeah.
Synthetic Division. But then KU 101,
Okay. Yeah.
that was like, dude, it's so good. I mean,
Mhm.
granted, it's
Yeah.
8 years after Synthetic Division, but I mean, it is produced so good, and
Mhm.
it's like you could really tell. Again, what we keep talking about is they were very intentional with the layout of the entire album from start to
Mhm.
finish. It tells a story. It has a feeling. It's got an ebb and flow to the whole thing. And it's so like the contrast in that album is so good, dude.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Hollow,
yeah, um, yeah.
good stuff.
It's spectacular. Um, and they put out a single a couple years ago. Um,
They might
NFG,
have.
NFG, I think was a couple years ago.
It's
That
not
song's kind of a trip. It's
NFG.
NFG, no
Oh yeah,
fucks
yeah. I know what
given.
you're talking about. Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I gotta
definitely not
look
going to
that
get
up.
played on the radio,
No.
but
Yep.
was a really good song. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think they played Tampa. I think that's where they're from. I think they're in Florida. Well, they are in Florida, man.
Yeah,
For it's either
Florida.
Tampa
Yeah.
or Clearwater. Um,
Yeah. So it looks like NFG came out 3 years ago.
okay.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope, James and Ian are working on new stuff. Um, you guitar player, bass player, let me know.
yeah. Yeah,
Happy to
that's
help
right.
contribute.
Yeah, because I remember that's right. Because that's when yeah, in the video they had like the big red X's and stuff, and they were kind of
Mhm.
going back old school there.
Yeah.
But
I
again, that
think
was
they're,
3 years ago because the stuff that I just saw late was the Mad Max stuff.
yeah.
So
And I
I don't
saw,
know.
I mean, I surfed through a bunch of live footage the other day. And there's some quality footage from the last couple years for
Nice.
sure.
Yeah, good for them.
Um, and it's like, but man, like you think about it, a band like that, it's like I remember there was this one, I think it was from 24, 23, 24, this live footage. And I'd never seen a keyboard player do this. He had like, you either have it like, you either have your keyboard on a stand and the stand does a thing,
Yeah.
or it's kind of like not like a keytar situation, but
Right.
it's this dude just took the keyboard off and was just flailing it around. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, man. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like, are you going to go all downward spiral on it? Like old school Nine
nice.
Inch Nails? Because that'd be sweet,
That would be
you
sweet.
know? But they were like on this super small stage, so they were all cramped, but he was just rocking out with this thing. And then he just set it right back up on the stage.
Nice.
And I'm like, man, you are going to hit that bass player with that thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
anyway,
So funny. Yeah,
I
because
thought
it
that was
reminds me of
fun.
like Head Charge too. Head Charge had their
Yeah.
keyboards, and you're
Well,
right. It was
didn't
just
they have like a weird
he had on like
contraption?
yeah, he I thought he had it on like a big spring or something
That's
like
it.
that.
That's what it
Yeah.
was.
And
Yeah.
then obviously there's other shows where he didn't have that. There must have been a period of time where he did or whatever, but there's
Mm,
a period of time where it was like bolted to the bottom of like a regular keyboard, like cross braced, stand or
mm.
whatever. And like he'd be like throwing it and dropping it on
Yes,
the
I remember that.
and then he'd pick it up and
Yeah. 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 I think oh, what was the dude's name? Who was the keyboard player in Manson in the beginning?
oh
He used to do something like that too.
yeah.
Um, that wasn't Madonna Wayne Gacy, was it? That was the drummer.
That was a drummer. Hold on here. No, I think
Let's,
you're right.
is it? Is that his name?
Stephen Beer, formerly known by his stage name Donald Wayne Gracie,
Okay.
by the nickname Pogo. He
That's
was a
it. Yeah.
keyboard player for Marilyn
Yeah.
Manson. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he
Yeah.
had something similar to the spring thing.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
And,
but
yeah, and that was the
yeah.
thing. Like, how do you, especially in metal, how do you make keyboards cool? I mean, it sounds
Yeah.
good, obviously, and it
Well,
adds so much depth. But
from a performance standpoint, like how do you make it visually entertaining
right,
instead of just standing there going like,
yeah, exactly,
um, you know, as opposed, and not going like the full other side and destroying it with your mic stand like Trent used to
right.
do.
Yeah,
It's like how are you going to make this visually appealing? And yeah, you're right. That's tough.
yeah, it's tough, and that's the thing. It's like I think kind of everybody who does samples and all that other stuff. It's like you got to
Mhm.
be known, and unless you're Craig from Slipknot, but you got to be known for
Well,
being kind of crazy back there because you don't play the entire song, so you got to do something else. Otherwise,
yeah.
you're just standing there with the thumb up your butt.
Well, I
That's
think
why
that's what Craig
Sid,
did the
yeah,
majority of the time.
yeah, he pretty much did.
He just sit there and nod his head really
Yep, just
fast.
I'm
Yeah.
just introverted and very uncomfortable, so this is what I'm doing.
Mhm.
But Sid was
Visually
crazy.
awkward in itself is a performance, right?
It is. And gosh, can you imagine what he was going through? just just standing there like, I hate this. I hate this. I love the checks, but I
Yeah.
hate this.
It's like
But
there's
no,
a
like
reason they didn't put a GoPro on him during the Disaster Piece
right.
show.
Right.
I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I think he actually did have one on his helmet, but
It does sound familiar, but I mean, Sid though, I mean, Sid went crazy. You know, I mean, he broke both of his ankles in one show, and I mean, he was
Sid's a
all over the
maniac.
place. But
He's a
yeah, but that was
maniac.
the thing. I mean, even I can't remember his name, but the keyboardist, the head charge was the same way. Like
Yeah,
shaved
yeah,
half of his head,
yeah,
not
yeah,
not just the hair, but like I mean, his face and his eyebrow and his. That
yeah,
was such a cool.
yeah,
I mean, like I'm
yeah.
crazy.
Well, I mean, that was kind of the
It
vibe,
was the
like
vibe. Yep.
that a lot of these bands were after. It's
Yeah.
like, I think Slipknot had a lot to do with that. But it's like, we're crazy, we're insane, and this is
Right.
cathartic, and yada yada.
Yeah.
Um, I've been guilty of it,
Yeah.
you know, but
Well, not all of us have worn fishnets. Just saying.
Jesus, relive my trauma again.
That's right. Yeah. That's so funny, dude.
Yeah, well, those photos exist on the internet now, so
They do.
I
They
don't
do.
remember what episode that was, but
Hey, we all had our
listeners,
phases.
feel free to go
Yeah.
find it
Dive
if
deep
you
on that one.
want.
Yep. Yeah.
Jeez.
That's fun stuff. But yeah,
But
man,
yeah,
crossbreed, dude.
yeah. Highly recommended. Highly,
Highly
highly,
recommend.
highly.
Are they on our playlist? They gotta be on their playlist,
Oh
right?
God, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Probably several times.
Okay, good. If not, they
I
need to be several times.
Underline's probably on there. Hollow's definitely on there.
Yeah.
And probably a handful of others. Pure Energy's probably on there.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we know some
It's not.
promoters
It's
too.
going to be.
We know some promoters too. So
Mm-hmm.
any promoters that are listening, wink, wink, you should book
Yeah, I
Crossbreed to
mean,
come here.
if they're going to go out, and I hope they do,
Right. Yeah, I
time will
just looked them
tell.
up. It says they're playing in New Jersey and on May 2nd. That's the only show that they got lined up right now.
Jersey, we're at
Yeah.
Jersey. Dingbats.
I don't know.
Um,
You want me to look
Everybody
it up?
seems to be going to the machine shop. Like
I think
that's
that's
a
what it was.
destination. That's in Michigan though. That's a
Oh,
destination, kind of like it's kind of an iconic venue, I believe. But like 40 Below is doing a show there with Primer.
mm.
Um,
Oh, Dark Force Fest.
Dark Force Fest.
Let's
Okay.
see. So Friday,
In
Saturday,
New
Sunday,
Jersey.
Dark Force Fest 2026 lineup. London After Midnight.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah. Frontline Assembly.
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
okay.
I don't know how to pronounce this. Combi Christ.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
Okay. Never heard of them. Sorry.
Wes did some stuff with them way back when.
Das Ich. Leather Strip. Ultra Sun. Pig. Rabbit Junk. And Priest. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite the list of band names.
It sure is.
Pig.
Pig.
Okay.
But I'm trying to see where Crossbreed is on the. Oh, there they are. So they're playing Saturday, May 2nd. And yeah, interesting. Yeah, Icon of Coil, Haunt Me, Male Tears, Matte Black, Crossbreed, Frozen Plasma, Panic Lift, Frontal Boundary, DSTR, Unit Code Machine, and Spank the Nun. So they are all playing on May 2nd.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at your band name, but that one's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Spank the Nun. Okay.
Spank the Nun. So, and they're also playing with Priest on the same team.
Yeah,
So it's a little bit
I'm
of a
sensing
theme
I'm
that
sensing
day.
a vibe here.
Yeah,
like
a little
theme,
bit of a
yeah.
vibe. But
Kind of sounds like it could be like a goth rave techno kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah. That's what it seems
Which
like
is
they all
cool.
are. Yeah.
Because I've never heard of any of those other bands except
No.
Conquest.
Yeah. London After Midnight. I've heard of them. They're good.
Well, them and Frontline Assembly.
Frontline Assembly, yeah.
But never heard of
I've
Pig.
never heard of Common Christ.
And
Pig, yeah.
Pig.
Yeah, whatever. It's each their own. Obviously, I mean, I'm like looking at all the pictures, and they all have like that kind of aesthetic and
It's
theme
spooky.
going on. Spooky. Yeah. So, yeah, whatever. Good. Go check them out.
Yeah.
It's at the Sheraton Parsippany Hotel in Parsippany, Troy Hills, New Jersey.
Is there a venue there?
first, second, and third. Yeah, it's evidently at the hotel. So
Hmm. Cool.
yeah, good for them. But yeah,
Yeah, right.
maybe they'll come to Nebraska, and
Yeah, that's probably a long shot.
probably a long shot. So
Flagger country.
any promoters that we know, you got two people at least showing up.
2 tickets sold.
Two tickets, that's right. Sold. Send it. But cool. Well, yeah, man. Well, I think we probably put a pin in this one. And yeah, so for everybody who listened this far and stuff, thanks for listening again. Make sure you like, comment, and share. Subscribe if you're new to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And
Also,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, before I forget, I probably should have mentioned this more at the beginning of the episode, but so if you're not subscribed to our shorts channel on YouTube, definitely go do that because we just put out a new series called Turn It or Burn It, where we're going down the Detox Productions new metal list, and it is a very thorough list of 45 plus
4,500 plus new metal bands.
Yeah.
So
and we're listening to them and we're talking about them.
Yeah.
So that's every Wednesday on the Shorts channel. So be sure to go over there and subscribe too.
Yeah, please do, because it's a lot of fun, and we're gonna keep going, no matter what. But it's a lot of fun.
It would be funny because full transparency, guys, we're on that list.
Yep.
So wouldn't it be fun to like get other people on the show to do that, to do ours?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
That would be a good idea.
And have, since they, like two people who've maybe never heard it before.
Yeah. So we're sitting here reviewing everybody,
and have them
review us. Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know if I want to. That'd be kind of scary. Come to think about it.
But like we're in it too. Like we're with them, but we can't say anything or whatever. And we're just there crying or something.
Sure.
Anyways, okay.
Yeah. Either way, we'll flesh that out. We got a ways to go. We're not even into the A's yet.
Yeah, we haven't even made it to the A's.
We're still dots.
We're still in the punctuation.
We're in the punctuation.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we got a ways to go before we get to
it's D. Super fun, guys. Yeah. Make sure you go to our shorts page or, look it up, Google it. But yeah.
I'll link
so we were loud once
on YouTube.
Yep. On YouTube. We were loud once, Turn It or Burn It. So, and that was, kind of an idea from back in the day. I'm sure our local station wasn't the only radio station that's ever done it. I would imagine there's more, but on our local station at the time, that was kind of the thing. It was, if you were a local band trying to get radio exposure, you sent in your demo and they'd play it on the radio on a certain day. I'm pretty sure it was Wednesday afternoons, and they would send it, put it on the radio.
That sounds right.
It was either Wednesday, maybe it was a Saturday. I can't remember either which way, but
I think it was Wednesday.
I think it was
definitely during the week.
Yeah, during the week from like 5 to 6 during people's drives home, and they would play, a handful of songs from bands that had no exposure, and this was their attempt to expose it. And people could call in then and say, "Yeah, I like that song. Let's go ahead and turn it." Or they'd say that song sucked, burn it. And then based on the votes or whatever, they would actually put it in rotation. Yeah. And it was pretty cool. It was a cool thing. So we're doing the same thing similarly. And but instead of, putting them on the radio, we're putting them on our Spotify playlist, which is immense. And dare I say, one of the best new metal playlists out there. Hate to toot our own home, but it's up there. It's pretty good.
I listen to it all the time.
I do too, because the one thing that's different about our playlist, folks, is how many times have you gotten into a playlist, somebody's playlist, and they have an extensive, genre, say new metal, and it's just like a full album of 40 Below, full album of, Limp Bizkit, full album of blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, dude, I could do this on my own if I wanted to. What's cool about ours is it's so random. It's just, it's very rare for us to have 2 songs of one band, especially not in a row. We don't put any. I think there's one band that we have 2 songs in a row, actually.
BHP.
I think that could be.
As I rapid fire at it, though.
Right. But the thing is that, again, it's nothing that you have to put on random. It just, you let it play, and it is super fun. And we also, it's very rare for us to play like their A hits. It's like usually these are the ones that are the offset ones that they're less known for, unless if it's kind of a less known band, then we seem to put the bigger hits on that because we want people to be
Right.
like, oh, that's hooky. I want to go check
Yeah.
that out, you know.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to expose them, you know. So
Yeah.
we got a little bit of a method to the madness there, you know, what
Yeah.
we're doing. But
Yeah.
either which way, coming back, yes, turn it or burn it every Wednesday night on our Shorts channel. Please check it out because it's super fun. It's a lot of fun.
It is a good time.
Yep, and we're gonna be doing that for a long time because we got 4,500 plus bands.
Do one of those a week, man.
That's right.
4,500 weeks. I'll
That's
be
right.
dead.
4,500. That's like what, a year, 2 years?
Or- There's no way we're
You're-
getting to that list.
No. Your math is not checking out there. No, that's. I think we did the math, and it was like I think we said like if we did like three bands a week or something like that, it came to like 12 years or something like that. It was like, yeah, that's gonna take forever. But that just speaks to the longevity of us. So hopefully by the time we retire, we'll be getting through that list. So
we're gonna be reacting to new metal bands for.
That's right. And just be like, turn it up. I can't.
turn it up.
Turn it up. That's what. Burning. My heart burns. Killing me. I got the GERD. Oh man. Anyways, all right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all.
We'll see you.
We'll see you.